Hi, I'm Ashley Curello, sharing my heart, music, and home, and today I want to share a homeschool review of first grade with you. Today I'd like to share 3 things with you. First, I'd like to do a quick review of the curriculum that I used this year for first grade. I'd also like to share what I'm doing to close out the year, and then finally what I hope to accomplish over our summer break. So let's begin by talking about the curriculum that I used this year. All of it was wonderful curriculum, and most of it I will be using with other children, but I'd like to share a few thoughts about each of the books that I used. Let's begin with math. I have been using Kate Snow's curriculum for several years now. She has a whole series called First Grade or Kindergarten or whatever grade it is with Confidence. And it's a wonderful series. It's open and go. It does not require a lot of prep work from me as the teacher. It's colorful and hands-on, and my children really seem to enjoy it. So I do plan on sticking with this curriculum for next year. Next, let's talk about language arts. And in my approach to teaching language arts, I try to integrate all of the language arts disciplines together. So for example, reading and spelling and handwriting. I like to tie all those subjects together instead of thinking of them as isolated subjects. They all work together. And to best accomplish that goal, I have found this program called Spell to Write and Read to be the most efficient and succinct method for teaching my children language arts. A lady named Mrs. Wanda Sanseri has written this program, and I highly recommend it. It's not an easy program, but it is well worth the effort, and in my personal opinion, it is the most robust and comprehensive language arts program that I have found so far. What is neat about this program is it builds year upon year. So for example, every year we are using the same book. So this is the spelling book that I teach from. So each year we will begin with the same spelling words, and each year as my children progress, they will learn more and more spelling words. So each year I actually come back to this same curriculum, and for right now my child is starting at the beginning of the spelling lists, and then we just progress as far as we can through the year. And each year we've gotten a little farther. Once my child reaches a certain mastery, then we will start in some of the later lists and work our way forward. I love coming back to the same curriculum each year. It creates a level of confidence in my children and helps them really gain the necessary skills they need for reading, writing, and spelling. And I love how Mrs. Sanseri really ties all 3 of those disciplines together, spelling, reading, and writing. She doesn't view them as isolated subjects, but they all work together to teach my child language arts. For reading, I'm rather eclectic in my approach. I like to use a variety of books to help us work on reading. As I mentioned earlier, the language arts program that I'm using really is teaching my child how to read, but I also want to use some readers as well to strengthen reading skills. So I've used the Pictorial Eclectic Primer by McGuffey. This has been a great resource, a classic book, definitely worth purchasing and using. And I also love the Abeka readers. They are colorful and age appropriate for my child. Then moving on to social studies, I used a beautiful book this year called My Story and the World Around Me. This is produced by Master Books. This book is very comprehensive. It has a vast amount of information. It covers the whole world, and it was quite beautiful. My child loved all the pictures, but in all honesty, this did not meet my educational goals and my style of teaching my child. So I will be thinking of something different for 2nd grade next year. And then let's talk about science. I also used another Master Books textbook. I used Adventures in Creation Level 1. This was perfect for 1st grade. The lessons were engaging. The experiments were fun. So I will definitely be using this curriculum again for 2nd grade. I definitely recommend it. Next, let's talk about what I'm doing to, I guess you could say, wrap up the school year and just tie up all the loose ends. There's a lot to do to finish out a school year. Obviously, one of the very first things I needed to complete, I needed to finish entering all of my grades into my Excel spreadsheet. That's just been an easy way for me to keep track of all of the grades. After I finish entering all of the grades, I'm going to generate a report card. Here in South Carolina, we're required to have semi-annual report cards. So that's been my pattern, to have 2 report cards a year. So I still need to do that and finish out my report card for this year. Here in South Carolina, we are required to maintain a portfolio for each child. And what a portfolio is basically a sample of a child's work. So what I plan to do, I plan to take out some of the best pages, workbook pages that best exemplify my child's work. I'm just going to create a file folder with my child's name on it, the year, and then I'm going to file away those papers that best exemplify her work for this year. Another thing I plan on keeping, I keep my child's learning log from the Spell to Write and Read program. This is an excellent sample of my child's spelling, handwriting, and then writing skills for the year. So this is wonderful for me to put in a portfolio as well. Also, each year I have my child create a journal, and we use this for everything. We write about field trips, we write about history, science, we write down spelling words, we practice our handwriting. So this really is my main reference point for my child's portfolio for each year. So for example, we made a page about South Carolina. We practice writing verses in here, just anything you can think of. My child dictated many stories and narratives to me, and then I wrote it down. So this is an excellent sample of my child's work to keep in the portfolio. And then finally, let's talk about what I hope to accomplish over the summer as I take a break from school. One of my main goals over the summer is simply to rest and enjoy being off from school, taking a break. I need a mental break. My kids need a mental break. At the same time, I do want to prepare myself for the upcoming school year. One way that I like to prepare myself is I like to read at least 1 or maybe 2 homeschool books that just encourage me and give me that shot in the arm that I need to stay with homeschooling and the encouragement that I need. So one book that I would like to read this summer is The Charlotte Mason Companion. In all honesty, I am not necessarily a Charlotte Mason style educator, but I respect Charlotte Mason's work and I find it very inspiring and encouraging. So I like to gather ideas from the Charlotte Mason style and incorporate it into my homeschooling, even though I'm not a full-blown Charlotte Mason style educator. Plus, I also love Karen Andriola's warm and rich writing style. It's very encouraging, and I feel like I'm sitting down with a friend whenever I read something by Karen Andriola. Another thing that I hope to accomplish over the summer, I obviously need to order any new curriculum for the next year. I also hope to sit down and write out a basic schedule or framework for how I want to structure our days for homeschool next year. And then I'd like to also map out basically where we need to go throughout the school year. What are our goals for the year? What do we need to accomplish throughout the year? Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have a wonderful week. And if you homeschool, I hope that you found this an encouragement to you and maybe you got an idea or two. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful week.